Study update. Bookshelf pretty full. And I've got one section down the bottom which has like a box that I've got batteries that I sort of collect to be taken to recycling. But otherwise, every section is filled up with books, workbooks, actually most of the workbooks. The only things that aren't are really this last section here, where I've got some novels, some biographies, novels, Star Wars onto DVD, music books down the bottom, but otherwise everything else is pretty much work. The shelf that sits up here on my desk that you don't see used to have some of that stuff. That's going to become more of stuff I use more readily, hopefully, because I've got my art stuff up here, my drawing stuff, some of the previous books where I've sort of prepped stuff in, diary stuff. Today has been a day where I've just been going through piles of things I've had around the room that have just sort of piled up since 2020 when we went into lockdown, and my head just got... I've got a lot of paperwork that I need to shred. I've been emptying out boxes of stuff. I found a folder of receipts and invoices and stuff from a couple of years ago, some to do with the dog's vet bills. So I've been, like, you can just see the filing cabinet here. I've been sorting and filing stuff probably. I found a couple of books I think that I'll be getting rid of. There's a couple more in there that I think I'll get rid of, but I'm still thinking. On the topic of my diary, and I changed my little tags here by stripping them up and got rid of the clip off the top and just had the little tags at the back just here to try and stop them from being so bulky in the middle. This isn't a new thing to me. When I was going through some of the folders and boxes of stuff, I found two instances where we travelled overseas and I bought one of these, and I had a lot of notes in the front of things that we were doing, and in the back, I mean, I've taken it out now, but in the back where you can see this bit, I'd taped up the back section, so I had tape down the back here and across the bottom, and each thing became a pocket for receipts. So anything we'd spend would be put into here because we're trying to keep track of our finances while we're away and knowing what was going on. And quite often when we're away, you go into a store, you buy stuff, and then you go, yeah, I don't really need that. You take it back, and anyway, so I found that, and there was quite a lot that wasn't used, so I'm going to use that for whatever around here, writing stuff, etc. I've been kind of thinking that this is just a little big to carry around daily, and I see this a lot on the deep dive that I've done, where people are saying they have different diaries, and they have their main diary, and then they'll have a smaller book for doing stuff throughout the day, and then they'll transfer it back. Now, I quite often, this is A5, I couldn't do an A4 diary, too big to carry around. I did find an old diary when I was going through all my old paperwork from 2004, so 20 years ago, a work diary, and I did see that a lot of space, they were like a day to a page. Several pages completely blank, completely wasted. I think I might, well, I do have one of these that I was using this year. I might start fresh though if I can get it, but they're A5, and I quite often chop up like stencils and stuff that we might not use, paper, and I've got a little pile under my desk at school, and I make them into A6 book and PVA glue on the back, and it just becomes a rip-off pad. And that's how I used these for doing Inktober a few years back. A notebook that size would be good during the day because it'd fit in my pocket. But I did also find this. I've seen videos where they talk about, they've shown composition books, and I went, what the hell's a composition book? Then I found one from another trip to the US. I'd sort of just make notes, little entries. There wasn't much used in here, but in the back, I just had little headings like this one says take out, groceries, Walmart, random shops, a 99-cent store, Ralph's, that sort of thing. Medical, so if we buy medication while we're out. Pharmacy, must be a difference between those two. Fuel, events and places. So I would shovel the receipts into this, and this was my record of a different year. 2015, I only know that because I got a sticker in here, and that was from, visited a few schools while I was over there as well. So I'm thinking that there's a good chance I might be able to use this as a day-to-day, but in terms of, it's not much smaller than an A5. I've seen a lot of people using these as their commonplace books, and because I do want to get back into reading and being a little bit more intentional about what I'm viewing and reading and listening to, I might use that for that. I did also find this I might use for planning things for around the house, because I've used books like this sort of size in the past, so and I already started doing that sort of stuff in here. And then I also remembered, my wife bought me this years ago. Got a nice big tie to go around it. It's a bound book, just plain pages. I'd love to find a hole punch for these. I've just got a pacer style pencil, mechanical pencil in here. I've noticed that some of the things I've written in pen show through on the other side, but I've got some plans in here that I've drawn up of things I want to do, things I have done. This was when I was planning out the concrete slab for my shed side gate, which I built. I would use it for shopping lists. This would be cool to use, but again, it's the same size as a composition book. In terms of its size, the pages aren't. But I did notice that this was the same size as this, almost. And this was just a business card book that I bought when I was working in an office many years ago. Same style folder with the same style hole punching. I'm still got a bit to do in here. These holidays is the time to use to do this. With the weather at the moment, it was fine in the morning, and then it's just rained all day ever since. Kind of fortunate that I've got that chance to do this stuff in here, and I'm taking it to try and organise myself, because this room has been so chaotic, and therefore my life has been a little chaotic, and I'm trying to get on top of it. Electronics in here that I think I'm going to take to e-waste recycling that's on offer through the council. Like my old computer tower, I bought that in 1998, and it served me well for a while, but I think it made it to Windows 2000, but it's now too slow for anything, and I don't need something that big in here. It's just taking up space. I do everything on a laptop now. So that's my update, and geez, that's gone for a while.